The Noob player. Fresh players diving into modern League of Legends are dealing with mechanics that didn't even exist when the game launched. They're facing reworked items like Sundered Sky, new champions with 7 ability kits, runes that got overhauled 3 times, and a Summoner's Rift that's been redesigned so many times, old players don't even recognize the jungle anymore. But their biggest mistake isn't what you think it is. Watch a Noob lock and Yasuo top into a Darius with default runes, heal and cleanse still equipped, and Doran's Blade because the recommended tab told him to. He'll flash forward at level 3 to last hit a caster minion, completely defenseless against the Darius pull that obviously follows. The worst part, he buys Berserker's Greaves before any damage item because faster movement feels good, and he picks Lethal Tempo into a tank matchup because the icon looked cool in Champ Select. And he panic presses R thinking ulting through 3 minions is somehow going to save his tower. The tutorial teaches none of this advanced stuff that actually wins games. The game evolved way past what new players learn in that basic training mode. They're thrown into real matches against people who understand wave management and trading patterns while they're still trying to figure out why the tower one-shots them every time they chase a kill. The casual player. These are the laid-back players who hop into quick play and air them with whatever random champion they got from the reroll button 5 seconds ago. They'll run a full AP Soraka with Leandres and Rylays, pair Ezreal with Frozen Heart because they like the cooldown reduction, and they genuinely don't care if their build actually works against the enemy comp. They rarely climb past Silver, staying comfortable around unranked or low bronze because climbing higher would require effort they're not willing to put in. But there's one thing they do that actually makes them smarter than most players. While everyone else is stressing about the latest patch that nerfed Briar or buffed Aurora, casual players didn't even notice the update happened. They're too busy laughing in their Discord call when someone steals a pentakill with Karthus ult from across the map. They contribute way more to the community than people realize. They figured out something most players completely miss. League of Legends is actually designed to be fun first. They're not stressed about LP. They're not raging at bad matchups, and they're definitely not spending money chasing ranks they don't care about. Which brings us to players who care way too much about those ranks. The average player. Average players know the fundamentals pretty well. They'll counter Garen with kiting champions and use exhaust on the fed assassin without thinking about it. They play daily, they understand basic matchups, they ward the river before objectives, and they genuinely try to improve their gameplay every session. They usually sit between silver and gold, which puts them solidly in the middle of the player base, and this is exactly why they're stuck in elo hell. But watch them face a fed Riven snowballing top, and they completely panic. They don't know the right item rush to survive the burst. They mistime their summoner spells against full AD comps because they don't understand the damage thresholds. And they cycle through mid-tier picks like Yasuo with Yon, without understanding why those specific champions don't actually scale together. They win games through solid fundamentals, but lose to anyone with better mechanics or deeper matchup knowledge. They represent the biggest chunk of active players, good enough to understand how the game works, not good enough to break through the skill ceiling that separates them from higher ranks. They're the backbone keeping matchmaking alive and queue times short. But they're forever stuck watching better players climb past them into ranks they can't reach. Speaking of players everyone watches, let's talk about the most chaotic ones. The trolls. The trolls. These players intentionally throw matches specifically for entertainment value rather than trying to win. They'll lock in Smite Teemo top lane just to ward the enemy jungle for 10 minutes, build full tank Soraka with Sunfire and Thornmail to body block for their ADC in ARAM, or run it down mid as inting Sion the entire game because they saw a clip on TikTok last weekend. They mostly stick to quick play, ARAM, an arena where the stakes are low and people expect weird gameplay, and their impact on the game is way bigger than you realize. The community actually loves the content they create without realizing it. Troll plays become viral clips on Reddit and YouTube Shorts, spawning entire comment threads about the funniest ways to throw matches and the most creative ways to grief a lobby. They highlight how flexible League of Legends really is. The game accommodates non-competitive fun just as well as serious ranked gameplay. They're accidentally preserving the casual roots of the game while everyone else takes it super seriously and forgets it started as a hobby. Their meme clips remind the community that League of Legends began as a free MOBA people played after class before it evolved into this intense esports phenomenon with professional players and million-dollar prize pools. Unlike trolls who are intentionally funny, the next player type is unintentionally hilarious, the Rager. These players completely lose emotional control when matches don't go their way, and it's visible to everyone in the lobby. Face a counterpick top lane they can't beat, they're flaming the jungler in all chat by minute 4 and pinging the support's missing ward like it's a war crime. Get outscaled by a hyper carry while running a poke comp, angry ping spammed on cooldown followed by an immediate surrender vote even when they could still defend and come back. Miss a crucial flash that costs them their tower, they alt F4 mid-team fight and they're trying to break their mouse on the desk. But the real reason they rage isn't what most people think. It happens most in the grindiest part of Ranked, that Plat to Emerald range, where matchmaking feels most unfair, and one bad game can erase 3 good ones. The recent durability patch made certain matchups even worse, creating situations where their champions simply cannot win against certain comps. And they can't handle the psychological pressure of losing games that feel unwinnable from the start. They flood the game with abandoned matches they could still turn around and create the toxic reputation that Ranked has in the broader gaming community. What's really happening is they care too much about progression in a system specifically designed to keep them stuck at certain ranks. The game's matchmaking algorithms and seasonal resets create artificial frustration to encourage grinding, and they don't have the emotional tools to handle that manipulation. But their rage is nothing compared to the frustration caused by the next player type, the smurf, the most universally hated players in all of League of Legends. They sit in low to mid elo on a second account with absolute mastery of 1 or 2 champions, running over matchup abusing picks like Riven into any tank top lane, or Master Yi in a lobby that didn't pick a single hard CC champion, and they steamroll anything in their path. They dominate ranks like Silver, Gold, and Emerald, farming players who are skill-wise much worse, but matchmaking-wise should never be in the same lobby as them. And they're the reason the entire community wants one specific change. They got these accounts through either buying boosted profiles, leveling new accounts in a weekend with bot games, or straight up paying for unranked to diamond services to skip the climb entirely. Then they deliberately stay in lower ranks instead of pushing into diamond and above, where they'd face equally skilled opponents with actual mechanics. They win purely through experience and game knowledge advantages rather than playing the matchup honestly, creating the most demotivating games possible for players trying to develop their skills. A silver player with decent fundamentals and great map awareness simply cannot beat a diamond smurf on Riven, no matter how well they play. They're the living proof that League of Legends' matchmaking system has fundamental problems that hurt the competitive integrity. Every single Reddit post complaining about unfair matchmaking, every YouTube video about quitting the game, every Twitter rant mentioning broken rank traces back to these players exploiting account level advantages instead of playing where they actually belong. The community constantly demands stricter smurf detection, IP-based bans, or better placement algorithms specifically because of smurfs. At least the Rager is genuinely playing at his own skill level. Unlike the next player type who's mastered making sure everyone in the lobby knows he just got a kill, the mastery spammer. Every single play gets a mastery emote from these players no matter how small or insignificant. Successful skill shot dodge, mastery 7 emote spam. Last hit a caster minion under tower, laughing emote like they just outplayed Faker. Solo kill that might not have even happened without the jungler's gank. Dance emote flooding the screen before the enemy even respawns. They turn every single ranked match into a theatrical performance, regardless of whether they're running meta picks like Briar or completely off-meta experiments. But this behavior actually serves a psychological purpose most people miss. They're not just randomly spamming for no reason, there's actual strategy here. They celebrate small plays to tilt opponents and make them play emotionally instead of logically. They spam laughing emotes when behind to make their comebacks feel more demoralizing, and they use mastery pings to communicate with their duo partner without typing. The community either absolutely loves them for adding personality to matches, or completely hates them for being distracting and annoying. What they're actually doing is creating emotional investment in matches that would otherwise feel robotic and impersonal. They make every game memorable and help newer players feel like they're playing against real humans instead of bots with perfect timing, while the mastery spammer is just showing off. The next player type has actually reached the level where every single play deserves to be celebrated: the pro player. These are the world-class players competing in the LEC, LCK, LPL, and LTA with their split finals and Worlds Championships at major venues like the Chase Center in San Francisco, playing for prize pools worth millions of dollars. They don't just follow the meta, they create it by discovering advanced picks and item builds like AP Kai'Sa, Hullbreaker, top laners, and jungle paths that become the new standard everyone else copies the next patch. But even they have one weakness that costs them championships. Pro players consistently maintain Challenger on solo queue through absolutely flawless CS numbers and perfect prediction of enemy rotations 3 objectives ahead. They analyze every single balance change like the latest durability patch or champion rework within hours of release to instantly adapt their strategies and find new optimal builds. They compete for prize pools that can change their lives while millions of viewers watch their tournament matches and try to learn from their gameplay. They've elevated League of Legends from a free MOBA people played after class into a legitimate esport with global recognition and professional leagues. Their gameplay sets the strategic benchmarks that every other player type tries to copy. From their wave management to their vision control to their teamfight positioning, their feedback directly influences how Riot balances the game, making them essentially unofficial consultants who shape the experience for millions of players. Twisted Treeline. The map most players forgot, and the one a small community never stopped loving. It arrived in the early days of League as the game's second map ever, 3 players per side instead of 5, 2 lanes, a tighter jungle, and a whole different rhythm.